Hi, it's Roger from Ibex Creative in Kendall, and today we're going to have a look at Pixlr. Now, Pixlr is an online editor, and it's a mini version of Photoshop, which you don't have to pay for. You do get the occasional ad popping up, which you can just close down. But if it's great for small businesses that want to do something a little bit more creative with their images, but not have the massive price tag of signing up to one of the Adobe Creative Suites like Photoshop and Illustrator and all that. You basically just visit pixlr.com and you get to choose either between the Express version or the editor version. Now we're going for the editor version, and in a real world scenario it could be used to update and match the size of an image. You could add text over the top, you could add a logo for a bit of branding if you wanted to share that on social media. All those things are incredibly useful from a marketing point of view on a weekly or daily basis. So in a real life situation, I need to update this image. The first thing I would do is view the image just to see what size I'm dealing with. And the joy about Pixlr is that I can either save that image to my hard drive and open it, or I can load it directly from the URL. So we're going to choose that option. I'm going to copy, say load from URL, paste that web address, load it, and it's there. Now I can edit this and I can save my own version of it, but this is essentially here for us to use as a size guide so that I know if I then upload it to the website, it's going to fit nicely within the space because it's exactly the same proportions, it's the same pixel count, everything else is the same. Now what we want to do is we want to go and get our new image. So glancing down around our workspace, we've got our toolbars down the side here. If you mouse over each of these tools, it gives you a little explanation. A lot of them are familiar. The icons and that are shared pretty much across the board for image editors, so a lot of it will be familiar if you've had a dabble before. And on the right hand side we've got our layers palette. Now the layers is where all the action happens, and basically anything we add to this image will start to stack. It appears on its own layer, whether that's text, whether it's a box to enhance the color as a background. We tend to add those on as new layers. Now the reason for that is if we ever wanted to create a series of images where we were swapping the image out, but we had, say, a heading and a logo that were consistent, we could save this as a working file and next week open it up and be able to slide the new image in behind all the text and still have the text live. So it's a great way to ensure that you've got editability long term, and you then just save off a JPEG for use on your website for each mod that you'd made. So we're going to add a new layer because we want to go and add our new image over the top, and we're going to select image rather than empty, and we'll go and find our image that we want to use. Now that's pretty big, we can see the extents there, so I'm going to go to edit, free transform. You can see there's a shortcut there which can be handy. If I don't hold my shift key down, I can squish the image up a little bit. If I hold the shift key, that constrains the proportions, and it means that everybody's going to look normal. So I tend to get that centralized and get it to the point where you're happy with it, and hit the enter button and it commits. So that's our new layer. We can toggle that on off to see what's going on. We've got a layer there, we've got a locked background layer. We can double click that little padlock to unlock it, which means we can then delete it off if we wanted. We could merge those two layers as well, but for now we're going to leave them be. So that's all very well. If I was happy with that and I wanted to upload it to the website, I would then go to save, and I would then give it a name, a decent descriptive name, save it as a JPEG, and then I can play with the quality slider. So if I was saving that at 100% quality, we could see it was 0.5 meg, quite a big size. If we drop that quality down to between 60 and 70, usually is a good balance between size and quality. We can see that we can drop that down to 60k from 0.5 meg, massive saving, which makes it a better experience for people surfing on mobile data. There's less to download, it happens more quickly, it's a good experience, great for SEO, it's great for your visitor, so definitely do it. Give it a descriptive name, that's also good for your SEO. Don't knock this down too much, otherwise your picture starts getting ropey, but I would say generally 60 to 70% is fine. Even if you had it set at 80, you would still have a massive saving. So yeah, definitely don't do it 100% unless you're going to compress it using some other utility. So we would save it then as a JPEG, and that's ready to go on the website. If we wanted to do a little bit more, like add a bit of text, we would then grab our text tool and select in our document, and we can then change the font size. We can also change the font style. We can move it to where we want it to be, and of course we can change the color if we want to. Now that's the color we wanted. It's not standing out very well, so what we can do is add a new layer. We'll just use an empty one, use our marquee selection tool, measure out our spot, and we're basically going to use our fill tool with a black fill, and we're going to fill that space. Now it's killed off that text because it's moved to the front, so we're going to drag that layer down below the text, and we can see our text is now visible. So that's great. If we don't like the strength of that black, we can then right click on the layer. That brings up the option, and we can knock that opacity back. So it's just a case of finding a balance where we have some of the detail coming through and the text showing up very well. Once that's done, we might want to add a logo as well, because we want to keep it branded. So we'll add another image, and we'll go and find our logo. That looks a little bit big. So we are going to make sure that our logo layer is still selected, and we're going to go to Image, Free Transform, Edit Free Transform. Hold our Shift key down again to constrain proportions, and we can then move that to where we want it to be. We may not want to kill off the people. We might want to just pop it over there and give it some free space, and that's pretty much ready to go. So yeah, very versatile, very easy to use. If we wanted to save this as a working file and retain all this editability, rather than saving as a JPEG, we would save it as a PXD. Now this PXD is only useful for you to come back and edit. If you're using it for a website, you would save it as either a JPEG, if it's a photo like this, or if it's line art with a transparent background, you'd probably use a PNG because that supports that transparency. You don't have any compression on the PXD because it's not going anywhere online. It's going to be a working file which you save to your hard drive, so there's no option there. Just give it a decent name so you can find it and save it in a safe place so you can get back to it easily. But yeah, that's a little bit of a sneak peek at Pixlr. Incredibly useful online app, free, you can't beat that. So give it a blast. Go and maybe save or pick up one of the images on your website and have a whirl, giving it a bit of a tweak. You can do color corrections, add a bit of enhancements and things like that, improve the contrast, adjust the color slightly, do those sorts of things just to improve it. Maybe even add a little bit of compression, upload it just to improve the load speeds on your site page. So yeah, give that a try and have fun.